Tesla's biggest threat that no one is talking about is actually not Volkswagen or Rivian or Ford. As a matter of fact, it's nothing that any of its rivals have done. It is something that Elon Musk hasn't, and it became very apparent during last week's AI day. But I know everybody was mesmerized by the Tesla robot watering plants, and nobody has noticed that something, or rather someone very important to Tesla future, was missing from the stage. And to help me find one, I will be joined very shortly by the State of Charge host Tom Moloughney. And of course, as always, we will take questions from you, my live audience. And we're going to start right now. Welcome to E4 Electric, where I reveal the truth behind the electric car headlines. If you haven't already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Wow, I'm just not here at all today. Okay, so listen, we've all seen the Tesla AI Day last week. If you haven't, I'll catch you up in just a second. But a rather big problem was kind of exposed during that day. And I feel like from watching all of the YouTube videos and recaps and articles, no one has noticed, I feel like, the most important thing. Now, let me catch you up just a little, just in case if you didn't watch it. So Tesla has unveiled a Tesla robot, the humanoid, about a year ago. But this time, they actually had one walking on stage. They actually had two different versions. One that you're looking at right now kind of appeared that he had too many Tesla killer shots backstage and was barely making it. But the second one had to be wheeled in by like three people, much like a Walmart shopper. And I gotta give it to them. They did say that this was a human-inspired design. Though, if you design a humanoid, I would say that I think you only have one inspiration there. Now, it is better than last year, I have to say, because remember last year when they just unveiled, it wasn't even a robot. It was just someone dancing in what appears to be a Halloween costume of a robot. And I'm still going to stand by my guess. I still think it was Grimes. Now, how many people, by the way, are going to Halloween in a Tesla robot costume, which I guess is pretty popular? I have my own costume that I'm designing this year, and you guys are going to love it. My costume is actually going to be the Tesla full self-driving package. It's great. I'm going to RSVP to all of the Halloween parties that I'm invited to, not show up to any of them, and then send a Venmo request to the host for $15,000. I think I have a pretty good case of winning quite a few Halloween costume contests. So let me know in the chat or in the comment section what your Halloween costume is going to look like. But please, as always, keep it PG-13 here. All right, now let's see. Now, Elon once again was very hopeful about this, which is great, right? You know, it does look like every time Tesla puts something on the map, it becomes a thing, no matter how many companies have been trying to accomplish it. So I think that's a good thing. Now, he said that his guess was this humanoid robot who will be doing, I guess, like household chores, will be available in anywhere from 3 to 5 years and will cost under $20,000. But let me translate from Elon speak, when we don't really need a robot for that. It's probably going to be about 10 years. And the damn thing is going to cost about $100,000, especially in the beginning. And it does sound like that's not even an outrageous price for something that is this amazing. I mean, let's remember, we're almost living in a movie now. So this is a big deal, at least I think. However, if we were to be really honest with each other, we do have some robots in our lives already. And like, for example, the vacuum cleaners, right? They've been around for a while, and they're really not doing that great of a job. I mean, if you had one, you probably know that it's you almost have to have a robot supervising this robot, and they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars with all of the technology that we have right now. So it is not that easy. It is not that simple. And all these rumors, I guess it's owned by iRobot now, um, has been now on the market for many years, and they still can't get it 100% right. This is not an easy task. Just in case if you guys think that, like, oh look, we're almost there, right? We are not. And by the way, I think it wasn't Elon, it was one of the other presenters said that, this was the first time they even allowed this robot to walk without, I forget what it's called. It's a harness that goes on top of the robot so it doesn't fall over. So I guess it could have fallen over, right? And which is, this is why I watch the Olympics, right? For the figure skaters, it's just a guilty pleasure I have. It would have been great if it has. I just don't understand why they even risked it, because remember with the Cybertruck, things did not go as planned. But kudos to them. The robot has worked, and so it begins. They've now made a lot of promises, and it looks like everyone's going to turn heads and hopefully develop something similar. It will also push Tesla. However, this is the first time that Tesla has unveiled something that wasn't amazing, that no one has done before. There are actually plenty of companies out there that have been developing robots for a long time, including what I think is the leader in Boston Dynamics. I mean, look at this. You would think that this is graphically generated, but it is not. And by the way, they're already dancing better than most people that I know. So it is very, very advanced, and you will see in the video later that they do flips, they do so many other things, and not just dance. So in this case, which is a little bit kind of weird, Tesla is behind because there's a lot of different advances. You see, I'm telling you, they're dancing already better than that guy, and definitely better than me if you've ever seen me dance. As a matter of fact, as a single guy, I have to say that a lot of people ask me, Alex, like, how do you think you will meet your next girlfriend? Would it be in a coffee shop, or in a grocery store, or maybe the dating app? But I'm starting to get more and more convinced that it might actually come from a Boston Dynamics store. But at least I know we'll be able to pick features, right? I'm just kind of wondering what would be the most important feature in my robot girlfriend. I mean, if you ask me, it's probably going to be her ability to get along with my robot wife. But feel free to let me know what the most important feature for you would be in your robot partner, and put it right here in the live chat, and we can check it out. All right. Now, by the way, Boston Dynamics is impressive, but there are quite a few other companies that came up with their own robots, and this is actually the one that's probably the most like human. But as you can see, just so many out there on the market, and it makes you wonder, how long will it take Tesla to actually catch up to even them? And they've been doing it for many, many years. It is not, guys, it is not an easy task. And we're talking about not just being able to kind of be a coordinated, piece of metal, but as you probably saw from the Tesla presentation, you essentially need to have a very good full self-driving features, because now you are more than a car. And let's talk about, by the way, the full self-driving, because Tesla did a big presentation in the second half of the day. And, they presented the faster computer, and not just in the car, the computer for them to analyze and do labeling. They now have way more people in the beta program, or as I call it, human trials, about 160,000 of them. And once again, Elon gave more promises and said that probably is going to be worldwide released in the world by the end of the year. Now, again, I don't even need to translate, you guys. It's also very it's take it with a grain of salt. Now, at the same time, FSD has been in development for a long time, and it is definitely far from perfect. There has been many different instances and videos where FSD has done many dangerous things, like trying to run into a bicycle or the wall and so forth. It's definitely not perfect. This is one of the probably best compilations for it, and it's been pretty much filmed. Almost everything that you're looking at right now has been filmed by Tesla fans. What happens in the real world, a lot of times we don't even know because people are not filming on purpose what their FSD is like. And there is also competition, right? We talked about Cruise, but we also talked very recently that Xpeng Motors has released the sort of the city street self-driving feature as well, only in the city of Guangzhou, but it's going to be expanding. So it looks like Xpeng Motors has been catching up to Tesla. And of course, as I mentioned, there were other Cruise and Waymo, as I saw in San Francisco, where I was just the other day, and so tons of self-driving cars driving without the driver. So there is definitely competition, which really brings me to my biggest point. It's no secret that Elon Musk believes that the future of Tesla is in AI. It's not necessarily in the batteries or the motors, though very important. It is in AI. Obviously FSD and the robots. But as you probably know, Tesla now had its third head of artificial intelligence leave the company, right? Andrew Karpathy, and he wasn't replaced by anybody. And that's the person who was. Tesla literally has no leader. Important, essentially, ingredient of their future. And that kind of puzzles me. Now, remember back in the day, Elon, and this rumor has been confirmed over and over now, when Elon and Tesla were struggling to bring Model S to market, there were a lot of different delays, and he brought in Peter Rawlinson to kind of save the day, and he did. Model S is essentially Peter Rawlinson's engineering baby. He now runs Lucid Motors very successfully, so beating quite a few Tesla records, and kudos to him. But it looks like Tesla needs another Peter Rawlinson to kind of save the day and put it ahead of everybody else once more. Otherwise, it might be some rough waters for Tesla if they don't get the FSD, which, by the way, everyone's going after, from NHTSA to DMV to class action, lawsuits that's being filed. It could be something that Tesla would have to rethink very, very soon. So I know the title was a little dramatic, but if you think about it, it really isn't. There is a person that probably Tesla's future relies on, and that person just hasn't been hired yet. I'm sure it works right after the whole Twitter, fiasco is over, but Tesla definitely needs, because, Elon is not an AI specialist per se. He does need somebody running that for him. It seems like they're very close, but they need it. So at this point, let's bring in Tom, because he's got, as always, quite a very interesting perspective on everything. Tom, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Alex, how's it going? Good to see you.
Yeah, same here. Well, listen, let me ask you the most important question that we're discussing today. Of course, what do you think the most important feature of your robot wife would be if you were looking for one?
Well, I already have a wife, so I'm not getting a robot wife. I'll leave that up for you. I would have a robot, I guess, like a housekeeper. So I guess I would probably want a robot to help me organize my life. To make sure I don't miss meetings, to make sure I do things on time. I think that's probably my biggest thing that I could use, like a personal assistant. So I guess my personal robot would be some sort of personal assistant that also, cleaned the house and did things like that. But hey, listen, I'm happy with my Roomba. You were crapping all over the automatic vacuum cleaners. I have a couple of those. I love them. I even have one for my pool that cleans my pool. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy with how the vacuum cleaning robots and the pool cleaning robots work today.
I got to tell you, man, I don't have one because I'm not as obviously rich as you are, but I hear nothing but complaints about that, runs over socks, runs into their pets and their toes and stuff like that. My point was this is not easy. This is not easy. But all right, listen. You've been following Tesla for as long as anybody. Do you agree essentially with Elon, and at the very least, maybe with me, that AI seems to be, the full self-driving and now the robot product, the most important thing to keep Tesla as the leader in the industry and in maybe even in business, because that's what Elon suggested himself.
Yeah, I do agree. And one of the things about Elon, and I criticize him as much as anybody does. I'm a big supporter of his, but there's a lot of things he does that I think are just ridiculous. But that's for another day. But one of the things I have to admit is that Elon is a visionary, and he has the ability to look beyond what most people do and what's going to be important 10 years from now. And so, I fully trust his vision of the future, being say powered by AI, more so than what I can envision how quickly we're going to have AI really integrated into our everyday lives. So, I don't disagree with him that that's going to be super important for the automobile as well as for other facets of our lives.
So, all right, well, listen, do you believe that now Elon really does need one of those people to run the AI? Because that was 3 people left, sort of almost every time in the middle of an important cycle, leaving the team obviously without the leader, without the guidance, without direction. And it doesn't seem like even though we see the process, the progress, it's obviously not as fast as what Elon has hoped for. Does he need another Peter Rawlinson when it comes to the AI?
So I'm sure it wouldn't hurt. It's always difficult for me to comment on what's going on inside of a company without knowing and being there and witnessing what's happening. Maybe they're functioning just fine. Maybe they don't need a person at the top of the food chain of AI. I would think they would. I think it would probably be useful to have somebody in charge of the program and some bring in some new blood that knows this. But you got to also think about the fact that how many people are out there that would be qualified for this? This is such a new frontier. There's probably not a lot of people in the world that would be able to be the right person for this, Alex, and really move the program forward quickly. And then you can't forget your boss is Elon Musk. Elon's not easy to work for. We've heard this time and time again. He's a very dominating A-type personality. I mean, it's kind of like our past president, President Trump. It was very hard for him to get cabinet members to agree, or at least good quality cabinet members, because Trump was such a dominating personality and always wanted to have the final word and his say, that a lot of people just said, I don't want to work for somebody like that. And I think to some degree, Elon has that same stigma, that he's such a dominating personality that maybe top talent doesn't want to, would say, I'm sure it would be amazing to work for that company, but I don't want to deal with the baggage that comes with working for Elon Musk.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges, right? But at the same time, like you said, well, where would you get one? Now, I think the answer is in a lot of times is in acquiring another company. I showed the video earlier, right, from the Boston Dynamics, and those robots are doing some really, really impressive thing. And I think was Brian Nguyen here in a chat somewhere asked, like, well, what do those robots do? Well, right now they're just learning, right? A lot of times it's good to just first to build a foundation of something before you start making that product useful for the customers. But right now it looks like what they know how to do is actually get around pretty well, right? If they can dance and jump and do backflips and stuff like that, that's pretty impressive. That's number one step of having a coordinated piece of metal before that piece of metal can start actually doing some chores. And Boston Dynamics has been doing this for a while, and look what happened to them a few years ago, right?
Well, they were bought by Hyundai. So, evidently, they were available to be taken over. So, I think, Hyundai, the Hyundai Group has a lot of resources. I would imagine that they might be thinking about along the same lines that Elon is. But, as it is, those robots it's a different animal than what Elon's doing with, with AI. But as you said, that this, they might be taking the different approach of, build the robot, first, that can perform any kind of tasks needed, while simultaneously working on AI programs, and that stuff could all get, uploaded and put into the robots of the future, the next generation ones. Elon's kind of doing it all at once, doing the AI and building robot functionality, which, as you can see at this point, it's very rudimentary. That the Tesla bot is not a very advanced robot.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, don't get me wrong. I'm actually very excited about this because, like I said, what is the saying? The high tide lifts all boats, right? I think no matter what, if Tesla is making a big deal out of something, for example, in this case, is Tesla bot, everybody else is going to turn their heads. The money from the investors will be flowing into companies that are trying to compete, right? Boston Dynamics have really never gotten that much of a publicity. I've never heard of them before until I started researching, hey, what other people are doing about this, right? Even though they're really, really good. Tesla has essentially probably is the best thing that happened to Boston Dynamics and many other companies that have been just kind of flying out, under the radars. One other thing I was going to ask you, and this is, of course, it depends on a lot of other people. Let's say we have a humanoid bot that does my laundry and everything around the house. Let's just say we don't let them out for now. But let's say they can do everything around the house: cook, clean, do my laundry and everything. But at the same time, there's always a reasonable cost and unreasonable cost. Like, for example, I have someone who comes in every other week and cleans my apartment and does my laundry, and I have someone who cooks for me. Mainly, it's the cooks at the Chipotle, right? But there's only so much money I am willing to spend on that. How much do you think is realistically for not a poor person and not a rich person, maybe an average person with an average income? What is the price point at which it actually does make sense?
So I don't know, Alex. It's hard to say. The average, say, American, isn't going to be able to afford even a $20,000 robot if they could make it and sell it for $20,000, which I doubt that they'll be able to. I think there'll be some kind of a, when these things do get made where they can be useful, I almost think there'll be some kind of like leasing program, where you'll kind of like how you have somebody come and clean your house now, you could have somebody come and perform tasks for you for a certain amount of hours a week or something. I don't know. I just don't see, when you think about how the average American, you can't even buy a new car these days, and they're buying used cars. How could somebody have the disposable income to spend $20,000 on something that isn't a necessity in their life? A car's a necessity, and many people can't afford that to buy a car. So, there's going to have to be some sort of a program to make it affordable for people. If down the road, initially, just very wealthy people will buy them, but if he's talking about mass adoption of, having these artificial intelligent assistants for people, they're going to have to figure out a way to make it so that, it's affordable, because, it's a super expensive piece of technology that, 99% of the people in the US would never be able to afford.
Listen, Tom, as always, it's good to have you. By the way, we should probably tell the audience that you are now going to be, you have a new time slot, I guess, as they say. You're now going to be a guest on my live streams for a while instead of my Sunday videos. And those I will just have to do on my own, as sad as it is. But I think it's much more fun. And not just for me, but hopefully for you as well. But for my audience to have you here for longer and have us do this live and answer their questions. So thanks for now joining me on Wednesdays. Of course, if you guys haven't, subscribed to Tom's channel, the link to it is in the description of this video. And of course, as we repost this video as well. So Tom, thanks again. And I guess I will see you next Wednesday for another hour of live entertainment.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I do like this format, Alex. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Hopefully, we can get into some arguments when we have some topics that we don't agree on. Hopefully, my sound in the garage is going to improve. You might want to take a look over here. You see all these these blue foam pads. That's only a few of them. I have tons of these things that I'm going to be using to sound deaden and reduce the echo that I have in the garage now.
All right. Tim the Toolman Taylor apparently is joining us. So it's great. Listen, I'm excited about this. See you next week, and we'll definitely do some more arguing then.
Okay. Take care, everyone.
All right, guys. As always, it's great to have Tom in, and he will be here every Wednesday, as we mentioned. Thank you for all of the comments and all of the super chats. I definitely now have enough for the Chipotle meal, and that's where I'm heading right now. Looking forward to all of the comments for the, we usually like compress this video and then repost on Thursdays. So looking forward to those. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.